I believe it is a global issue. So it's more like a global strategies for those international brands. So we have to be clear that yes, they are closing, but not only for Hong Kong. While on the other hand, I also believe rents in Hong Kong has not been sitting in a very healthy level, especially for those flagship stores, big stores, as we are talking about easily over 5 million a month. And in some extreme cases, at 10 to 15 million a month, which is equivalent to $500,000 a day just for rent. While oftentimes many, fast fashion brands items are only at 50 to 100 bucks. So I think it was not very healthy, even when the market is good. And we are just now entering a period that things should be back to a more reasonable and sustainable level.
Okay, so let's get specifically into Hong Kong. How will people in the retail property sector, fill up those spaces again?
The current retail market is at a very, very challenging time. COVID-19, social unrest, these two things are very different in nature, but it brought to Hong Kong at least two very similar outcomes. So one, we have fewer tourists started last year and basically no tourists at all at this moment. Number two, it's really stimulate online shopping. So for those flagship stores, I think definitely it is going to take a while to fill up those space. On one hand, the landlord has to lower their rent. And on the other hand, they would need to be very open-minded to consider some other mixes. Currently, we are seeing a lot of good Japanese brands. We call Japanese power. They are filling up some of the space, but still there are still a big gap between the expectation between the landlords and the retailers in terms of price.
With the political unrest and the pandemic going on, how can the retail market, which requires expensive rental space, compete with the e-commerce market?
I don't suggest retailers or developers to create a model to have their stores or physical space to compete with e-commerce. And instead, I think everyone should think of a model that how can online and offline work together to create the best result. And I think, for short to medium term, there will be at least, three trends. So number one, both retailers and developers, they need to be more focusing on local spending, as nobody has the crystal ball on, when the tourists are able to come back to Hong Kong again. And the implication would be less luxury goods, less tourist items such as medicine, cosmetics, and etc. And for physical stores, we need to be very focusing on what you can do offline that you cannot do online. So the easy one would be, some of the services like when you're doing your nails, your hairs, F&B and entertainment. But for general retail, I think, creating experience would be the key. For example, sports brands, they should, invite their customers to their shop, to build a community, work out together, and create shopping demand. And last but not least, I think the whole retail trade should be more family and kids oriented in the future, because adults can do a lot of things online in the future, but for the kids, the parents always want them to stay away from their iPads and stuff. So to go out, to have fun, to experience and learn, right? So I think, edutainment is going to be a very big field that we can pay more attention to.
Well, it sounds like a huge task ahead, but let's just wait it out and see. Thank you so much for the conversation.
Thank you, Elaine.